Hey everybody, it's ianofAustin somewhere around here. I have Jolene with me and we're going to talk a little bit and I'm just going to let her kind of share her story, talk about what she does, how it could or may not help you today, tomorrow, or in the future. And before I get started, if you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. It really helps everybody out. And you know, I'm always whining about hiring local, working with people that are local. So Jolene is local. We've met together, worked together in a couple situations, and I think she has some good information to share. So why don't we start off by saying, Jolene, how the heck are you today? Tell me a little bit about yourself, something like that. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me in. I'm doing well. For those who don't know me, I'm Jolene. I'm a residential mortgage loan officer. And I've been in Austin for about 6.5 years now. I moved here from the Bay Area. I'm originally from San Jose. And I've been a financial professional for the past 8.5 years. Most recently, I switched to mortgage, and that was about 8 months ago.
Oh, so you're fresh. Fresh-ish. You've been in financial for a long time, though.
I have. Before I fully went into mortgage lending, I previously had experience, with mortgage lending at a credit union, a local credit union here. So there's some big differences, when you switch over to, full mortgage loan origination. So it's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's been good. It's been positive.
And you're from the Bay Area. What brought you here? I've only been there one time. It is gorgeous there. It is really pretty.
It is. It's very expensive.
Yes.
The cost of living. I gotta be honest, I didn't really see myself ever moving. And I moved here to join, my ex. And I just ended up staying. I created my own life here. Mm-hmm. I didn't really see a reason to leave Austin. I thought it was, a great city, and there was so much potential here that I didn't really see the benefit of, of leaving that. So, I chose to stay, and it's been a great decision. So.
Well, that's good. Welcome. You have a lot of people that are like, there's already so many people moving to Texas. I'm in the other camp. I'm like, come on. I think it helps us both. And yeah. And there are a lot of people that have been relocating, and it's interesting to see. I've always wanted to do the same myself, and then I did, just like you, came here, and I love it. I couldn't imagine life without having done this.
Same. How long have you been here now?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you've seen a lot of change too.
A lot, yes.
A lot of change. I personally did not see myself here as long as, I have been. I always told myself, 3 or 4 years tops, and then I'm going back. What? But it just doesn't happen that way. And, the funny thing is now my family, they're making plans to move over here too. And that makes me happy. So
yeah,
it's been great. It's been a great life decision. And like I said, I wouldn't change that.
Well, let them know you know a good realtor.
I definitely do.
I'm just messing.
Call you in.
Call me up. So, okay, you said you were a mortgage loan officer, professional in finance. What does that mean to people who don't know or may not know?
A mortgage loan officer is definitely, it's definitely going to be somebody that is going to be your first point of contact when it comes to all things financing. They're the person that you want to talk to in regards of, how much are you going to be able to afford? What's your interest rate going to be like? All the important, fine details of your financing. Most people think that they need to find a realtor first, where, a lot of realtors like yourself probably, the first thing you ask them is how much are you pre-approved for? And it kind of creates that circle. So just save people time. And time is money. So to save people time and money, that's going to be your first, that should be your first point of contact for people.
You know, I actually have people that'll call me. Let's say they do talk to me first, which
Mhm.
I try to get them to talk to me first. No offense. I try that, right? But then, I can hand them. Anyway, I say that because I have people call and then they'll say, oh my gosh, I've got this much debt. My credit score is this and everything. And I'm just like, Let me write it down. Let me write it down. Because I can't, it's not common knowledge that I don't need to know that. I want to know the basics, like what can you afford? But the only way I would know that is through someone like you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the loan officer is essentially, they're going to be your storyteller for you to end up getting, the financing to get into the home. So, some of us like to, we're basically like your storyteller for, your loan. And that's basically how it starts. We have to get you approved. So we have to be able to explain your story, your situation, your finances. We look at everything. And, they basically put you in the best possible, financial, the best possible financing for your situation. Because you want to be able to look at all those things as a whole. So it's a really, really crucial and important piece of the entire mortgage transaction. I mean, we can't, without us, we really, really can't do it. Right.
Right. I have, I have a lot of people that ask what it takes, and it's real tough when I can't answer the question. So I do always have to lean on any lender that I connect them with. It is critical that, oh my gosh, that they're honest. How about that?
Yeah. I think that's really important. Like we carry licenses for a reason,
Yeah.
integrity and honesty is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when people are looking for a good loan officer, they want to make sure that that's, if you can kind of sense that with people, are they being honest with you? Are they kind of, blowing smoke at you? Like you can kind of tell it right off the bat. And I think that's so important when you're rate shopping, when you're talking to your loan officer. Are they taking time to get to know you and your whole story? Because it's important. It's important. It's an important part of the process.
I absolutely agree with that. And people who are doing this for the first time, I don't think they understand how important it is to have someone that, if you need to reach out to them or need to go meet them for coffee, you can meet them for coffee and have that conversation in person. You can judge people by their body language and by the cadence of their speech. And it's just, you lose that if you're just dealing with an app online that doesn't have a real person behind it. Right.
Right.
So
exactly.
That's good. Well, now they get to see you, right? See you and talk to you and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
So the next question I want to ask, and I think that's kind of on everybody's mind, the white elephant in the room, how is the market today? What do you see things doing in the next 6 or so months, your business and all that?
I think that's always a hard question to answer. Because, this, for example, I don't think anyone could have predicted that, we would see the largest numbers in history for unemployment. I don't think anyone would have expected that, hey, rates went down to, I've heard of people locking in at 2.5%, like extremely low interest rates, historically low interest rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
To predict, what's going to happen, that's definitely hard to just give a straight answer. However, rates are good.
Yeah.
Rates have been steady, and predictions are that they're going to stay this way, that the market, at least in Austin, we're not going to suffer as much of an economic impact as some other, major cities in the country. So I think that, if you're thinking about buying a home, you definitely should, talk to me, talk to a loan officer, talk to somebody that, that's a mortgage professional, someone that you trust,
Yeah.
and that you can talk to openly and honestly. Because right now, and that's pretty much what I like to talk about, is like right now, it's a great time to purchase. It's a great time to refinance. If you have a mortgage, like it's at least have that conversation. At least have that conversation with somebody so that your options. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we don't need to pull credit in order to at least see if it may be something that's, you know, worth your while. I mean, it's going to be important because we need to know, you know, your finances and your liabilities. But overall, we can kind of do a lot of that, you know, a lot of our mortgage calculations without that, with just, you know, having an initial conversation. And I think that's so important for everybody to know. Like, if you're waiting for, you know, the next 6 months or, you know, year to see what happens with the market, there's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Life is precious. And, you know, I don't think that, you know, life is too short. So make that call.
Make the call. So you're saying if they were like, you know, our kids are out of school right now, we're not quite sure what's going to happen, we were thinking about buying, you think they should just heavily consider it?
Absolutely. Bite the bullet. Just see what your options are. See what your buying power is. Because if you don't know what your buying power is, how do you know if your family is going to be able to afford or fit into that new home? So it's like I said, there's no time like the present.
There are a lot of people, and I hear the term, you don't know what you don't know. There are people that have these thoughts and start making these plans about their own future, but they don't even know if they can execute on those plans because they haven't spoken to somebody about them, about what it takes to make that happen. So I think that's a really good point you bring up.
Yeah.
Actually, just having the conversation. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't. It doesn't cost you a thing. It takes maybe like, you know, 10 to 15 minutes of your time to really get all the details that I need. You know, that if you can carve out 10 to 15 minutes of your time out of the day, just to have, you know, a basic financial overview, then I think that's time worth spending for sure.
Oh yeah. You know, I asked you earlier, I said, how's the market? And then I said, whoa. That's my question. I'm supposed to answer how's the market for me. But what's interesting about that is what I've seen is you had mentioned getting your homework done. I've actually been in a situation where I've submitted offers for houses and then we end up in 10, 11, 12 other offers going against that many other offers. And so having that conversation with where you're getting the pre-qual information puts us in kind of a league ahead of a lot of other people. If there are people that don't have that homework done when they go to make an offer on a house, forget about it. As Joey would say on Friends, that's it. Forget
Exactly.
about it.
Exactly. And I think when you start the process, even if it's a to be determined situation,
right.
If I can get somebody, you know, cleared all the way through underwriting and the only thing left is to make an offer, I mean, that's buying power. That's huge.
I like the words buying power. They go well together. They sound good.
Yeah.
They sound good. So then my next question would be, what is something that you can say to people who've never done this before, maybe like a tip or a trick that will help them if they are considering buying, other than call you? We know that one. We know call you, right? But like, give me a tip or trick to help them out. Somebody who's never done this before.
Somebody who's never done this before, like I said, they definitely want to take a look at their financial situation. You know, how long have you been working? Your employment history is really important, right? I mean, I know we're in challenging times right now, you know, and this is kind of, you know, it's not really a good situation for a lot of us, you know, out there. But I would say at least, you know, take a look at everything. Then talk to a financial professional. If you are considering buying, you know, see what your reserves are. Do you have money for a down payment? Like, what are your credit scores like? You know, not just one, but all of them are important for us. And see if there's ways to increase your scores, because the higher your credit, if you have time, and if you have time to raise your credit, that's only gonna increase your buying power.
How much time does that take normally?
I mean, it just depends. It depends on, because everyone's situation is different. Sure. If it's something minor and I can do a rapid rescore on somebody and it's as simple as removing a dispute, or as simple as, paying off a small credit card. Some of those things can be really, within a few days that we can get an answer back on, getting those scores at. But those are things that, come into play more so when you're ready, and when you're ready for us to pull credit, when you're ready for that next step. And that's why I like people to allow me to pull their credit. I like to kind of get that up front, because even if it's right now, we can kind of make a plan for the next 6 months. If that's the case, if we need to do, more work than anticipated, we have that time to kind of build up those scores. And I think that comes best from a loan officer. Mm-hmm. Because we can we can see everything,
Oh yeah. I don't like telling people that. That's like the doctor that has to come in and say, I'm sorry, but you only have 3 months to live. Like, I don't want to ever be in that position. I'll gladly give it to you. Just you be more delicate with it. And it's not that. It's not even that. It's not a negative thing. It's more like, listen, we have a chance to make this work. We just have to do 1 or 2 little things, and you'll be great, solid, good to go. You
have an opportunity to make a difference.
You have an opportunity. Yeah. I hope that didn't sound negative. I didn't want it to sound negative.
Oh, no, it didn't. I just heard differently. That's fine.
Yeah. So
I think that you're right, because I like to give my own personal experience.
Yeah, give it. Share that.
For example, I did a new build in Austin. So I built my house about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And when I initially applied for a mortgage, I wanted obviously the best rate possible.
Yeah, of course. Everybody does.
Exactly. That's typically, 9 times out of 10, that's what, most first-time home buyers are going to be rate driven. Right. I will say that's not the most important thing when it comes to financing a mortgage. There's a lot of different moving pieces involved in a real estate transaction. I think that's why you should definitely talk to, more than one financial professional or mortgage advisor, because you're going to hear different, like I said, you're going to hear a difference in opinions. You're going to figure out what resonates with you more. But I think going back to what I was saying about my own experience is that, I did a new build, and knowing that I had about, I think it was about 6 to 8 months for the completion of the home, I raised my credit score 90 points in a matter of 6 months. So it's possible.
Awesome. That is
definitely possible.
That is great.
Yeah.
So
I hope that gives people encouragement. So
no, that's huge. Congratulations, because that's like a Cinderella story. That's amazing that you were able to do it, pull it together as you were buying your first home and a new build. So that's really, really good. And that means you probably got a better rate, obviously got a better rate than you would have if it were 90 points lower.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's huge. So you had said something when you were telling your story, you said the rate might not be the most important. So then my question is, what are some of the things that your company, your underwriters, your processors look for? What are the things that matter when someone's getting a loan?
We call it like the 3-legged stool, right?
Yeah. What are those?
Income, assets, and credit.
Income,
income, assets, and credit. Without one of those, a 3-legged stool isn't going to stand, right?
Yeah. So if I have like horrible credit, I make $500 a month, and I owe money on 4 different cars, I'm probably in a bad spot. Maybe
you probably need to do some work.
Some encouragement, some financial encouragement. Maybe that's the term.
You probably need to do a little bit of work, but like I said, so it's good to start somewhere.
I think what happens is a lot of people are kind of fearful. They think they're in a really bad spot, but they don't know. They don't necessarily know, but they have this kind of like feeling that they're not able to do it, like a fear almost, because there's something in their past that might come back to haunt them, or, like maybe a credit card. I run into that a lot. And I try to get people to talk to a loan officer, and they hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, how do you plan to move forward if you don't know what it takes?
People are afraid of rejection.
I'm afraid of rejection, and I'm rejected by people all the time. I hate it. It's the worst.
Yeah, it is.
Just love me. Work with me. That's all I want.
Nobody likes the feeling of rejection. Nobody wants to, be rejected. I mean, because it sounds bad, right? And it doesn't make you feel all warm and fuzzy. And I think that's also, I think you bring up a really good point. Because people can be fearful of their past, but also they can be discouraged a lot of the times too. They may talk to one mortgage loan officer and say, sorry. I mean, that loan officer may say, sorry, but you're not approved for the loan. When somebody who maybe is a little bit more experienced, or, different lenders have, different programs, they have different overlays, which are, just different things than that, can be looked at, or simply explained, and we can get the deal done. We can get them approved. And it's happened. Like, I've seen it happen a lot, where people are like, no, I can't, I can't get approved. And it's discouraging for people to think that they can't do something.
Yeah. I have some clients now that I'm working with, and obviously there's client realtor privilege and all that sort of stuff. So no names or anything are necessary, but they have the ability to use a VA loan, but they're leasing a space. They're looking to lease a house. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, if you could instead work for a month or two, whatever it takes, I don't know what it takes to get to the point where you could buy instead of lease, you have a tremendous opportunity that I don't think you're aware of. And I don't know if it's fear or whatever, but I've been trying to have that conversation. Like, please just talk to someone. I will connect you with 15 people if you need to go through everything. But it starts to worry me when people don't try. It's like they've given up on their future or something.
Yeah. It's hard. And sometimes people are going to be stubborn about what they want to do.
I'm a Taurus.
So you're a Taurus?
I'm a Taurus. I know what stubborn is.
I'm an
Aries. I know
Aries.
what stubborn is. So I get that.
I do too.
Wait, you are too?
I'm an Aries.
Oh, man.
But I'm on the cusp, so
Me
a lot
too.
of times I fall into Taurus
territory.
Really?
Okay, yeah. So are you the 21st or 20th?
I'm the 20th.
I'm the 22nd. Oh, that's so crazy! Happy past birthday! That's so cool.
Birthday. That is awesome.
Wow, interesting.
I get along really well with Tauruses, so that's funny.
Yeah, that's because we're afraid of you guys. I'm just kidding. No, I think a Taurus. Anyway, we could talk astrology.
I know it's self-evident.
You ever listen to what is his face? Neil deGrasse Tyson. You ever listen to that guy?
I think I've heard of him, but I haven't.
He's an astrophysicist, and I kind of get all wrapped up. I'm not out there. I kind of get all wrapped up in some of these things, and it's funny.
It's all fun.
It's all fun. It's all fun just to hear what people think, why they think it, and that sort of thing. Okay. Let's move on to the next. What's the next? So, do you have a quote? Oh yes, favorite quote and why? Like, give me anything that that resonates with you.
So, a quote that really resonates with me is that I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody else's glass of champagne.
That is great.
And for me, what that means is like, I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I am, 1,000% okay with that.
Yeah.
That's something that I've definitely had to learn over the years.
Yeah.
But gosh, like once you kind of like get through that like threshold of just, fear and anxiety and just like, hate to say like caring about other people's opinions. It's definitely rewarding.
It is.
I like I said, I think I can kind of relate it to my profession, you know, my role as a loan officer is that it's not always going to fit, you know, it's maybe not always going to fit with me, but I will definitely always, you know, route you in the right direction to somebody that I trust. That maybe I can't, you know, write the loan. I don't have, you know, the right program, or, you know, I see that something else might be a bigger benefit to you. Then I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna refer you out to somebody that, you know, that I know that you're gonna be in good hands. So that's kind of what I like to live by the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that you can't help everybody despite all your intentions to do so.
Right.
And so I think that's a good way to be. And I mean, I'm with you. I want to help everybody, but some people you can't in the moment, especially if they're not willing to do the few things that it takes to get the job done, which is understand what the heck the stool is. That's just understand it and then work on it from there. But so that's good.
And I think that you know, life is too short. Live now. You know, look at your options now.
Understand your options. Yes.
Understand them, learn them, because there's so much that goes into, you know, a mortgage transaction besides, you know, what your interest rate is. There's the HOA, you know, there's your taxes,
so it's real funny because Jolene and I were talking about, I actually just put a post on Facebook about like, give me some complaints, three of your top complaints about HOA rules, for example. And it's just one of those threads. It's like that, comment, because it is a hot topic. And in the Austin area, greater Austin metropolitan area, so I was looking at the houses that went on the market last week. 65% of the single family residences are in an HOA. 65%. 2/3 are HOA only. So people need to understand that. You might be coming from another place. They're not always that expensive, but they are huge here. And it's hard to avoid them if you really want, you know, some people just, I want this place. It's like, yeah, but it's an HOA. Well, can I get that place outside of an HOA?
Yeah, I really like that condo skyrise, you know, but it might cost me $500 a month.
500. I heard that and it just, you know, it hits me right here. Hits me in the heart. It's crazy how much some of these places charge, but you know, that's what you know it. You know what you're paying. They're paying for, if the roof goes out, they're covering that for you. If you need landscaping, so anyway, enough about HOAs. I think. But
you could fall in love with the home, and I mean, it could have a really high HOA or monthly HOA fee, and that could really, you know, that messes with a lot of people's buying power. So
huge topic that it messes with your buying power. A lot of people don't know that the HOA and the taxes are part of your payment, because you look on one of those sites. Those websites that we won't talk about, and they'll say, your payment could be $800 a month. Not here. I don't know why you think that. It's actually $1,500 because you're paying insurance, you're paying this, you're paying that. And the person that can tell you that is Jolene.
Yep.
Right. So
you got that.
Very good. Okay. So I think that's a really good conversation. I think it's good information for people who are either in the market, thinking about getting in the market, just have questions and just want some information. So my last question to you would be, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, they can contact me on my Facebook page. That's always going to have my most updated information. Or they can call me by phone.
All right. What I'll do is, if it's okay with you, I'll put a link to your whatever contact information you want me to share in the description below. And then that way, anybody who wants to reach out is able to do so very easily. Click of a button. Awesome. Thank you so much for sitting and talking with me and sharing some of your knowledge with everybody. And hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me in.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.